So where did your, like, I don't know, just interest in finance and money come from? Because, at least with my, from my experience, I'm the kind of person that's like, if I find something I love, I want to tell everyone about it. And like I said in my first video, I'll be like, guys, we all need to invest. And I just see my peers look at me like, yeah, okay, Kay. So like lots of people don't have that same kind of mentality. So it's a very select few that actually want to, consistently chase that bag. So where did that come from for you?
I always wanted to be a millionaire. When you asked me when I was little, what do you want to be when you grow up? One was to be a pilot. The second one was to be a millionaire.
Okay.
And I've always been kind of paper chasing in that sense. But I just didn't know how to do it, right? And like the older I got, I started understanding how the rich stay rich. And I think you mentioned on one of your videos as well, we were talking about rich dad versus poor dad, how, all that stuff. And just changing my mentality, right? Just kind of think more like a rich person and kind of keep it simple and just discipline and have a plan. That's really it.
Fair enough. Rich Dad Poor Dad is I would say it's a catalyst to very much get yourself into that mentality. Like, were there any other specific resources that may be helpful to viewers that helps you get on that journey quicker?
That's a good one. To be honest, I think that was probably the one that made me, like, it triggered everything for me to see it in a different way. That's a good start. Then there's a lot of other things. Like I read a book that was called The Market Whisperer.
Okay.
The smart, intelligent investor as well.
Yes.
What else? Yeah, I think those were the main things really. And then just kind of, every now and then listen to like interviews with kind of rich people and how they invest. I think that really helps as well.
What do you feel, because this is something that I've experienced a lot talking to people that generally don't understand finance that well, is a lot of people have a lot of animosity towards rich and wealthy people, which to me, like, I understand where it comes from, but at the same time, they don't pass that barrier of trying to understand how they got rich. I think a lot of people feel like it just happens, and like when you look at the statistics, such a small percentage of really rich people were just born into that. A lot of value is created, which is why they are rich. So like, I don't know, what's been your experience with just your channel, or like with friends and family, or just your conversations with like people close to you about finance? Or do you just not do that?
I do that, and I think it's really good to be kind of a living example of that. I think my biggest issue in the beginning was I didn't really have I had a budget, but I wasn't really following my budget. And I think people need to go back to basics, because when you understand exactly what your expenses are and how much you're saving on a month-to-month basis, then your investment process is going to be a lot easier. And for me, the biggest challenge that I had is I had all my money in one account, and it was really hard for me to separate all my expenses, my liabilities, all this stuff. So when I sat down and actually took a look at it to see exactly, sorry, is that a lot of noise? I know they're doing some renovation outside. But when I sat down and actually looked at what are my expenses and how much could I be saving on a month basis, then that opened up a whole new world really, where I can understand, okay, wow, this is how much I could be saving on a month if I stick to my budget. So that discipline of getting that budget. So I always tell my friends, start a budget. Even my girlfriend, I tell her, like, do you have a budget? How do you know what you're going to be spending for the rest of the month?
Exactly.
Do you stay disciplined enough to stay within your budget? What are you doing with the money next month? All these things. And I try to teach other people the same way.
See, guys, if you don't subscribe to Tesla dollar cost averaging experiment, like, look, he's just dropping those facts. See, like, honestly, creating a budget is that's the first step. That is literally the primary thing that you need to do, because you can't invest if you don't know where your money's coming from. If you're leaking money, if you invest in something and then you have to sell your investments the next day because a bill's coming out that you didn't prepare for, it kind of defeats the purpose. So no, that's really cool. That makes sense.